just want to say, I think Kevin Holland has really impressed me with how far he's actually come. His performance against Michael Chiesa was actually one of the best performances of the night. It's up there with what Derek Lewis actually done as well. So from that perspective, I think what he actually did was so impressive because of the fact that if you look at Kevin Holland is usually seen as a striker. So the fact that he's adding more sophisticated weapons to his game, for example, submissions, it shows how much he's actually how much he's actually come in terms of how far he's come as a fighter. He's starting to add nuances to his game, which I think is a good thing. Shows that he's developing as a fighter, and the reason why I think he's improving quite rapidly, relatively speaking, is because he's a fighter who's constantly active. He's the type of guy who would fight on three back to back shows. That's just his nature. And Michael Chiesa is someone who's actually known as a submission artist. So the fact that he submitted Michael Chiesa is actually impressive. Now don't get it twisted. I think Kevin Holland is going to be one of them fighters that's I'll be very surprised if he reaches the elite level. So if he becomes a champion or even in the top five, it could happen. I mean, we saw what happened with Charles Oliveira for a long time. Charles Oliveira was one of them fighters that just got. No one ever thought that he would get to the title, but it happened. Michael Bisping is another example. Leon Edwards as well. So it could happen, and he's got a lot of physical gifts. But for some reason, I just think he's more likely to be like a Donald Cerrone or Dan Hooker, where he has loads of fights. He's an entertaining fighter, but I don't think he's ever going to get to the elite level. But I could be wrong, and I would gladly want to be wrong because I actually do like Kevin Holland as a fighter. I think he's entertaining, he's charismatic, he's fun to watch, he's very active. So you're going to see him often, and he's a fighter who is um he's someone who you're if you're a fan of him, you're going to see him often, which creates a lot of hype. And I definitely am a fan of him. Very much a fan of him. So, from my perspective, he looked incredible, and it seems like he's developing as well, which is great. In terms of the some bonuses he's earned, like I think in 2015 or I can't not 2015, 2018 or 19, he was one of the most active fighters. I think he was on a 5 fight win streak, and it all happened with 1 year. So this is the reason why a lot of fighters do get preferential treatment, and they don't necessarily deserve it. So for example, when Michael Chandler, he only had one fight against Dan Hook, and he got an immediate title shot. Well, if you compare that to Tony Ferguson had 12 fight was on a 12 fight run, and he never got title shot. So there are certain fights that get preferential treatment, and they definitely don't deserve it. But I think Kevin Holland is a few fighter that he does get preferential treatment in a sense, not in terms of the decisions that he gets, but in the sense that he's always on these hot cards. Like let's be real, this card was quite hot. Like it was a very popular card with everything that was going on with for example, the Gaethje versus Poirier fight. There were several good fights on this card, and Kevin Holland was on the top card, so he is getting preferential treatment. But I do believe Kevin Holland's one of the few fighters that actually deserves the preferential treatment that he's getting. And the reason why I say that is because he's always active, he's always fighting, and he's always busy. He's not like a Conor McGregor that'll take 3 years off and then somehow get into a title shot picture. This is a guy who's always active, so I think he does deserve it. But that's just my opinion. Tell me your opinion. Do you think were you impressed by Kevin Holland? I was quite impressed, to be honest with you. I thought he looked quite incredible in there, and I think he's a fun fighter. I'm not saying he's a world beater. He's going to be elite. I'll be very surprised if he gets to that level, and I'm not ruling it out completely. I think it can happen, but I am happy with what I'm seeing, and he's a bit of a favorite. There's certain fighters that I know will never get to the top. For example, Dan Hooker's another one. Kevin Holland is another one. These fighters are probably never going to be elite, but they're fun fighters to watch, and I'm always happy when they're on a card. And I feel the same way about Kevin Holland as I do about Dan Hooker. These are fun fighters to watch. Like Dan Hooker's fight with Dustin Poirier, that was almost like a fight of the year candidate. Kevin Holland's fight with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, that was a great fight, great striking fight. So these are fun fighters that are fun to watch. You don't necessarily have to be the top elite fighter for me to actually enjoy watching you fight. As long as you entertain me, that's all I want. And I find Kevin Holland very entertaining. And he did impress me with this fight against Michael Chiesa. He showed another level to his game when he's getting submissions as well, and he's very charismatic and fun to watch. So from that perspective, I'm really happy with what I saw with Kevin Holland this weekend. So tell me what you think below. Do you think Kevin Holland can go all the way? How far do you think he can go? I think the fact that he's so active is actually working in his favour. I think he's doing it because he loves making money and he loves getting the bonuses, and he does like getting the preferential treatment. But like another reason, the byproduct of that is that he's vastly improving his game. He's getting better. The only way you can get better is by doing what you're doing more often. Like you can have loads of sparring, you can have loads of training camps, but it's not the same as actually being in the ring and fighting. And the fact that he's fighting and he's so active, is causing his skill level to just expand rapidly. So like even though I said I don't think he can ever get to the title picture or become a top five or elite or even win the title, if he keeps improving at this vast rate and he keeps having high activity levels, it could potentially happen, because there have been other fighters that have managed to pull off the impossible and actually win a title. For example, the likes of a Michael Bisping, the likes of other fighters like Leon Edwards, the likes of s- several other fighters in the past like Charles Oliveira. So I am happy with what I'm seeing, and I hope he does improve. It will be a great thing if he does win a title, but I just don't see it happening. But it could happen. Who knows? So tell me what you think below. Who would you like Kevin Holland to fight next? I actually wouldn't mind a rematch with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. The first fight was impressive to watch. So tell me what you think below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace.